On this episode of Squirrel Garage, we're back on Amber-Lynn, which we've been working on for a while now. But we are going to finally get to replacing the radiator. This one has a leak, of course, in the plastic side of it. So we'll be replacing that one with the one that I took out of the Red M3, which is a Z4M coupe radiator. It's like 1 core thicker than the stock E36 radiator. So we'll be pulling all that, slipping the new one in, putting the new electric fan on, which I have right here. So we'll be putting that on, the radiator, sliding it in, and wiring up the fan to a switch on the inside. I've dealt with the relays and hooking it to the low temp, high temp, all that kind of stuff, and for me, being comfortable driving the car, I've always liked the switch. And since this one's going to be kind of more of a dedicated track car, the switch is going to be perfect because you'll be able to switch it, the fan will come on, and just run it. So let's get to removing the radiator, getting all this stuff out so that we can get all the new stuff in. So what we're going to do first is going to remove this little it's your bleeder screw off the coolant tank. This and this little clip around it usually the screw usually kind of strips out or breaks because it's plastic, and same with this little surround. As you can see, this one's cracked. So I think I actually have a spare one of those laying around. But that gets the side tank, the coolant tank, off of the fan shroud, and we'll take the little hose, which is the steam hose on the radiator, top right of the radiator, which leads into the overflow tank. We'll take that off, and that, take the clamp off too. That snakes in and connects in over here with that, and that allows us to pull the tank away so we can access everything else. The fan shroud will have this little fancy clip. Only one side of mine has it, but it's this little push-in clip. Usually they break also when doing this. So now that we got that off, we can pull this hose through the fan shroud, and we can, oops, that's zip tied on there. That's beautiful. Let's break that zip tie real quick. See if we can break that off. It's not breaking. Dang it. Strong zip tie. And that's why zip ties are so tough. And I use them on everything. There we go. Broke that zip tie. So, that zip tie was holding on the hose that comes to the underside of the fan shroud, which goes to the bottom of the coolant tank, which, as you pull up and out, you can then disconnect. My coolant tank is all empty because it all leaked out through the radiator. I think there might be a little bit left in this, but not much. But you undo the clamp at the bottom, and your coolant tank comes out, which is basically empty. We'll let that dangle over there for right now. Take that clamp off so you don't lose it. Push this hose through the fan shroud on that side, and then you're going to push it through the fan shroud on the other side. This thing just slips through all of that, and that will get us the fan shroud off without too much trouble. As you can see, the inside of this fan shroud is just coated with friggin' coolant overflow. So this thing was leaking for a little while. This hose is completely covered. This hose I like to put up high, out of the way for right now. If you let it drop down low, all the coolant will leak out of it. I'm not sure if there's much in it, but I don't want it to leak out on the ground. That basically frees up everything in the front. The only thing you have left now is 2 coolant hoses. We take the 2 clamps off, pop these stupid little plastic clips off, unplug the temp sensor in the side. We'll replace this temp sensor with the one on the other radiator. When we do so, it will it'll just screw right into the side, no problem. Now I'll get that one off here in a second. But get these 2 by wedging a flathead screwdriver in it, pops them open. Usually they're not that easy, but there you go. They come off, or bend back, either way, and then the radiator's free and we can pull the radiator out. So let's get these hoses off here and get this radiator out. So now that we have those 2 hoses disconnected, the radiator slides literally straight up and out, and there we go. As you can see, I looked on the top of this, and it looks like it said replaced. Kind of looks like a used radiator that somebody threw in here. I don't see any factory markings on it, so it does not look OEM. I'm gonna keep looking. It's not. It said it looks like he got it out of a junkyard or something. So previous owner kind of maybe jerry-rigged this car. But thank goodness we're going through it, making it all right. So gonna set this off to the side there, and we'll go get the new radiator. Here's our new radiator. Well, not new, but used. It's in my red car. Used it for, I guess, 4 years, but it was basically, I think it saw 250, 300 miles in those 4 years. So we'll just transfer all our little rubber bushings on either side over. Those are easy to go on. We'll put the new sensor in the side, which is easy, and then we will slip this back in, and we will test out where we want to put the fan. We'll just slide this back in for right now, lock it down in its little cradle, and then we'll put the fan on here and locate the fan where it best fits and has the most clearance, and we will put our trying to see what works best, because you want to be able to do it where you can pull the radiator out of the car with the fan connected, and still run the stock fan shroud, and for all your coolant hoses and stuff. So I think our best bet, well, I'm gonna play around with this. I'm gonna put the shroud back in real quick and then lay out the fans so we know exactly where it's gonna go, so we can get the best placement. So guys, we put the fan shroud in, we put the fan in, and we have the fan lined up exactly where we kind of wanted it. We marked it, and now we'll pull the shroud and fan out all together, and we will pull the radiator back out and attach the fan. First we need to swap this fan blade around, since it comes stock as a pusher fan. We need to make it a puller fan. So just a matter of taking this bolt off, flipping the fan around, bolting it back down. Then we'll attach it to the radiator, and we'll slip this baby back in. So let's do that real quick. So before we put the fan on, I am going to put some fancy dancy connectors on it, quick connects on each one of the wires, so that once we get everything in the car, we can easily connect wires, and we're not sitting there trying to wire this dang thing with our head deep down in the car, because these are going to be mounted pretty far down on the wires, like down on the radiator. So we'll get so we'll get these crimped on there and fastened down. They both have a positive and negative, and if you read in the instructions, you'll have to see that you'll reverse the polarity of these when to make it a puller fan, because that's what we're making it. It's going to be a puller fan. Comes pusher, but we're going to make it a puller fan. So you need to leave those positive and negative on there, or at least note which one are positive and negative for your understanding, because like black normally is your negative on cars, is your ground, and on this one it's positive, so it'll basically be reversed. So the black will be the positive, and ground will be negative. I mean, the blue will be negative. So just need to pay attention. So, but with the quick connects, it makes it easy that once we wire the whole car for this fan, that that if we do need to switch wires for polarity, for some reason we get all switched up, easily done by just swapping the wires and change polarity. So now that we got that all done, find the top of this freaking thing. There we go. Top goes to the top of the radiator here, and I previously marked out where I wanted this. So it's going to sit 2 little cores down and right in front of the Hella logo, on the Bear logo, for everything. So that's going to put us right in the middle of that, and I'll go get the little zip ties. And I know everybody's going to say that the fan is off to the side, and that is because the fan cannot sit with this particular fan, shall I say, cannot fit directly in the middle, because that's where the water pump is on the car, and it literally is millimeters, under millimeters to the water pump, and I don't like to have stuff that close to everything. Just kind of makes me uncomfortable when it comes to that kind of stuff, like being that close. Like if the radiator even moves a little bit, it's going to contact. It's just the way I have it on my red car, and it still cools perfectly fine. Never had an issue with cooling, the fan not cooling, shall I say. And this is a big enough fan to cool this entire radiator and everything. So what we're going to do here is you're going to put your little spring that comes with the kit. I don't know if you can see that little spring on this, and you put this through your little cone vent, your vent here, and you're gonna pull it. And you're gonna pull it tight. And when you do that, then you're gonna put this little foam pad on there, and you slide that up, and that's gonna prevent the little plastic zip tie piece, basically. So what this is just a single kind of zip tie, and this is gonna push in, and you're gonna hear it, zip on like a zip tie. And when that does, that just pulls tight against that and protects your radiator from anything that might dig in to that. And we'll cut those off later. But we have that one set, and we'll go ahead, go around, do all 4 of them, and get this fan on so we can get the radiator back in the car. So now that we have that done, guys, we are going to combine the shroud and this radiator, and we're going to slip this whole thing back in and back down into place. Let's take off. Let's get these clips off. They always get in the way anyways. I usually remove them. So let's take that out for a second. Remove these clips completely from the car. They just literally just snap underneath. Pull them off. Slide them to the side. It's fine. Get this to go in all together as one. There it goes, slides in, drops down into place, perfect. Our wires are right up here up top where we can get to them, which is perfect. Let's reconnect the all the hoses. The only difficult part about this whole thing is that bottom radiator hose. Because of the way we have to put this in with the fan connected, and the fan shroud won't go in separately, we have to now get to that other radiator hose and fish it down and around and everything so we can get it to come up here so we can connect the water bottle. So let's do that. It's a little bit hard of a snake job, but it's not out of the realm of us doing it. So let's get to it. So now that we got that hose snaked in into the fan shroud, it's sticking up right here enough to get this on and our clamp on. But before we do that, we need to put the bottom radiator hose on. So we will just take that, align up the hose clamp, and slide that on the bottom of the radiator. Get that tightened up. When we get that tightened up, then we can put our coolant overflow bottle in, then finish up the top radiator hose, and then we're done as far as the mechanical portion. We will then go to our wiring, which I have all the wiring. I have some fuses. We're going to wire it to the power box, power distribution block over there. Then run it inside and just put a switch inside and be done. So, that's where we're at right now. So, let's get to it. Let's put these hoses on, put the coolant tank back on, and we should be good to go. Well guys, we now have the radiator installed, the fan shroud, the fan, and everything good to go. We have all our hoses hooked back up, and we have everything. Our next thing to do is to run the wires. My goal is to run wires to the front, inside the cab, and run it to a switch so I can switch it on and off. After doing a little bit of research, the front fan here, the AC fan, basically, is the previous owner set it to come on all the time. So as soon as the car's on, that fan is on. And that's kind of what I want for this fan. So as soon as the car's on, the fan's on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace the wires for the AC fan, find out where they connect into. I believe they run that way or that way. I don't know. I don't know exactly. I got to figure that out. And wire this fan to that wires for the AC fan so they're constantly on. We'll see how that works and see if we can get, actually find those wires. So let's jump to it and let's find the wires for these fans and see if we can wire it up to the other fan. Okay guys, what you didn't see and what I did fairly quickly is, now that we have all our radiator in, our fan in, our nifty zip ties to hold in the fan shroud and everything, I have decided, which has been an easy choice here, is to run the fan switch wire off of, I said I was going to run it to this front fan because the front fan is always on when the car's on, but I kind of like the idea that I can switch it on and off. And since this is a dedicated track car, or going to be, I'm not going to be running fog lights on this car. So what we've done is we've taken the fog light switch on the driver's side, cut the end off here, and we've gone through and we've wired the fan to that switch. So now I have a push button, turns the fan on and off when I want it. So that solves that problem. And I actually have the wires zip tied to the little steam hose that comes across the top. So that is pretty much done and figured out. We've filled it up with coolant. We have everything ready to go. I would love to take it on a test drive right now, but few things in the way. We do not have a inspection sticker, registration, or insurance on this car as of yet. I will be getting the inspection this week, and as soon as I do that, I'm getting it registered, but I have to have it inspected first, and to get inspection I have to have insurance, so I gotta put insurance on it, but through the same insurance I have the M3, it's not too bad for a track car, dedicating it to minimal amount of miles, a lot of trailering, so makes my insurance a little bit low. But it's also nighttime and we have to figure out the headlight issue. We have a headlight on this side, but we don't on this side. We have angel eyes on this side, but none on this side. I do have a pair of stock headlights and turn signals that I can throw in here. And I might just do that. I might clean those up, sand them down, clear coat them, might do a video on that. And then just sell these glass headlights. I don't really need glass headlights on a track car. So if anybody's interested in some glass headlights, I don't know what these are. They're depots. They're depots right there. I think the one headlight is just the igniter box over here, but I don't have another one of those right now. I actually put that on my old 5 Series before I sold it, so he could have some headlights. But if anybody's interested in some depot glass headlights, let me know. All the tabs I think are still good. I don't see any broken tabs or anything on them. So probably going to be doing a video on OEM headlight restoration, how to sand them, polish them, and then clear coat them up. But Gonna take a break from the front end of this car and jump to the side and try to remove those sticker decal things that were on there that we pulled off. The glue is still on there, so we need to get that off. Just do it real quick, wipe it down, get them off so we can prep this car to detail. We're going to detail this thing from top to bottom now that the motor work is done. So the car's basically, motor-wise, solid. Everything's fixed on that. And just get the ancillary stuff. Probably we'll be doing a video either at the end of this one or next video. We're going to be hitting up the junkyard this weekend on Saturday. Get some parts for this one. Got a little interior bits, window switches, and I've got to get rid of those rear tail lights. Those things are horrible. They're eBay LEDs, and I think like 3/4 of the LEDs are burned out. One makes like a sideways L, and the other one's like a figure 8. So when you look at it, it looks like you're standing late on the back. It's weird. I don't know. But gonna get rid of those. But let's jump to the side real quick. Take off that sticker. I found best to take that off is brake parts cleaner. Just literally dissolves the glue. You know, doesn't affect the paint too much, so it's perfect. But let's jump over there and do that real quick, and then if this video is not long enough, we'll see me at the junkyard, or we're doing headlight restoration. Whatever happens this week, I don't know. Probably going to be headlight restoration at the end of this video, and then junkyard video on the next video. So, let's jump to the side real quick. Be right back. I'm not sure how well the video picks this up, but this stuff is dirty, sticky, and it's like literally the stickiest stuff I've ever seen. Usually this stuff comes off with Goo Gone, but Goo Gone couldn't even take it off. It literally does not work. So first I'm going to clean it with some Purple Power. That gets all the rocks and the dirt that's accumulated on this. It literally picks up everything. You know, just any dirt, anything. So we'll wipe this down first to get all those big areas, and you can see the molding is cleaning too. But now that we got that out, pull out the brake parts cleaner, and we're gonna soak it first. Really get it in the glue. Let that sit for a minute. We're gonna rub this, and as we rub it, you'll see it start to ball up, and that is the glue starting to come off and ball up. And we're using a throwaway microfibers. So when we're done with this thing's gonna be filled with glue, and we're just gonna throw it out. Not gonna even try to clean or reuse this microfiber, but when you're using it, you're gonna have to put a little pressure in it at first to get the first couple layers of glue. Just keep turning the rag so you're not re-putting the same glue into the paint. We're trying to get it all off, not move it around. So as you can see, as we get down to the less and less layers, as you spray the brake parts cleaner, the glue will literally just disintegrate off. And as far as the paint goes, we're gonna be buffing and polishing this car, the whole thing next week, which will be a full video on that. But anything that we put scratch wise into this is going to be minor, and will come off when we actually buff and polish this car. And that looks like, yeah, that's exactly what they did. They repainted. Okay, this car was in an accident. when I bought it. No, well, before I bought it. The previous owner fixed it. But this panel here was damaged, and they repaired it, and they did it the right way. They cut it along the body seams. They re-welded this thing in. But it appears that they used the same side skirt here, and they taped off the graphic, and they painted this portion of the side skirt up to that graphic, and now I have a paint line right there that will not come off because it's a raised the lip portion. Well, that is just awesome. That's just a laziness right there. But it is what it is. Might be able to wet sand that off and get that down. But as you can see, all the glue has come off. So all the glue, oh well, there's some more, a little bit left. I think that's coming off the rag that I'm using. I think this thing's completely filled with glue now. I don't think we have anything left. But get this all cleaned up and finished off. To me, that looks amazing. A lot better than what was there, which was a stupid graphic. But yep, just a tad bit of glue left, and we'll be done. Wipe down that fender, and there we go. So it's done. I have this paint line. I might try to wet sand that out when we go to detail the car, see how bad that actually is. But it's good to go, and I think this will complete this video. We'll do next video. We'll do headlight restoration and junkyard run. So thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe, like the video. More to come. If you have any suggestions, questions, if I did something wrong or you want to see something done, let me know, and we'll try to do it. See you guys next time. See you next video. And there goes a baby bird right there, hopping along. See you guys next time.